ये है वडोदरा का खासवाड़ी क्रेमेटोरियम। यहाँ आप देख सकते हैं कि सारी चिताएं जल रही हैं, सब ऑक्यूपाइड है। आप एक दिन में कितने डेथ्स देख लेते हो?
यहाँ से 10-15 आदमी से ज़्यादा आते हैं। कोविड का ज़्यादा है, अभी भी आपके सामने एक दो तो आया अभी, और सब इन लोगों ने लगाया हुआ है ने। रात में भी पूरा कंटिन्यूस चलता है, यानी जितनी भी चिता है सब जल रही है। आप देख रहे हो, ओरिजिनल कोविड था उसमें भी लाशें नहीं देखी हमने।
अप्रैल 2021 तक वडोदरा में 11 शमशान और कब्रिस्तान थे जो कोविड-19 पेशेंट्स के क्रिमेशन के लिए अलॉट किए गए थे। पर मई 2021 के शुरुआत में इतना प्रेशर था कि वडोदरा म्यूनिसिपल कॉरपोरेशन को 3 और शमशान खोलने पड़े।
There was a huge spike in the number of cases and deaths, लेकिन वो ऑफिशियल नंबर्स में बिल्कुल शो नहीं हो रहा था। According to Divya Bhaskar, a Gujarati daily, 7,722 death certificates were issued between March 1 and May 10th. That's like 5,349 more than last year. But the official figures, they show just 189 deaths in the same period.
कुछ तो गलत था and I wanted to find that out. So I decided to make some calls, but nobody was able to give me a clear answer on the record. However, off the record, some doctors explained to me that the numbers were being manipulated. They used terms like repeat negative test comorbidities and isolated COVID deaths and explained how that impacted the data.
Based on data from one government hospital in Vadodara, between the 8th and 12th of May, 210 total deaths had occurred.
So out of these 210 deaths, 13 patients were COVID negative from the start. So straight away we can remove those. Of the remaining 197, 106 or 50% suffered from comorbidities. Let's assume the officials removed all of them as well, but this will be a contradiction of the ICMR guidelines. Now, 25 people who had died had COVID but then tested negative in a repeat test before the time of their death. So we can remove them as well. That leaves us only 66 who can be considered isolated COVID deaths. So through technicalities and vagueness, the number of deaths reduced from 210 to just 66. Keep in mind, these 210 deaths are from just one hospital. And interestingly, for the same period, the government reported just 54 COVID deaths for the entire city.
This didn't make any sense. और वडोदरा में कोई on the record कुछ बोल नहीं रहा था. So I called Dr. Vijay Gurjar, who is an assistant professor at Department of Medicine at AIIMS. Why do you think are these filters applied?
These filters are just to be like image conscious. People are image conscious. They want to show that the number of deaths are less here. Yeah, number of cases are less here. We have controlled the situation very well.
COVID affects those who have comorbidities more, right? So should people who die due to COVID and they have comorbidities, should they be considered as COVID deaths?
Yes, जैसे कि मान लो किसी को COPD है, वो उस पे अपनी लाइफ चल रही है उसकी, but he had a COVID and after that he died. So COVID is the immediate cause of the death. Otherwise he could have survived 20 more years. Likely for chronic liver disease, chronic kidney disease, or coronary artery disease, hypertension, diabetes, people are living with diseases with so many years. So COVID is the cause of death, immediate cause of death in these patients who led to these complications and these death. So it should be mentioned at the cause of death.
So we have received data, and we, according to that data, a lot of people were also tested negative in a repeat test just before their death. So either on the same day or just few days before, like 2-3 days before. So sir, what do you think about those cases?
कि अभी जो पोस्ट कोविड कॉम्प्लिकेशंस है वो भी आपको इसमें ही इंक्लूड करनी होगी, बिकॉज उसमें आपको मेंशन करना है इट्स पोस्ट कोविड केस एंड पोस्ट कोविड कॉम्प्लिकेशन. जो बहुत से केसेस में ऐसा हुआ है, जैसे ट्रोम्बोटिक कॉम्प्लिकेशंस है या कार्डियक कॉम्प्लिकेशंस है, बहुत से पेशेंट्स में जो है दे आर कमिंग विद पोस्ट कोविड कॉम्प्लिकेशंस, लाइक अभी जो म्यूकोरमाइकोसिस आप देख रहे हैं, तो उस दैट इज आल्सो पोस्ट कोविड कॉम्प्लिकेशन। इस पे भी अभी रिसर्च चल रहा है कि इसमें एकदम से इतना कैसे बढ़ा है, वो सब चीजें हैं, बट दैट इज आल्सो ड्यू टू कोविड। जो इसके कारण अगर किसी की डेथ होती है तो इट शुड बी मेंशन्ड एज पोस्ट कोविड कॉम्प्लिकेशन।
If only 5 to 7 people are dying due to COVID every day, what explains the pressure on the crematoriums? Why are the patients with comorbidities who die of COVID not counted in the official number? और एक हॉस्पिटल के कोविड डेथ्स पूरी सिटी के कोविड डेथ से ज़्यादा क्यों हैं? All I know is there's a huge undercounting of COVID-19 deaths in my city, and it's pretty scary. If you like this video and want us to do more such videos, please support us at unscripted.news.